For 25 years, the Harriet Buhai Center for Family Law has been providing critically needed legal assistance for low-income individuals in Los Angeles County. The center's creation represented a unique partnership between two women's lawyers associations. Both were looking for ways to address the enormous difficulties faced by people who could not afford a lawyer to guide them through the legal system.
We were talking about the issues that were presented, and 3 more women joined me in that discussion, and we decided, well, maybe we can do something. Maybe we can open a center where at least we do restraining orders, and that's what we'll do. We'll help the women fill out the forms, get the restraining orders, and get some type of protective orders, and that was the idea. So I took the idea to the board of Black Women Lawyers Association. One of the other persons that I was speaking with, her name was Dawn Tillman. Dawn was a member of the Women Lawyers Association of Los Angeles, and she took the idea to Women Lawyers Association, whose president then was Patsy Ostroy.
Maybelline and I started meeting with some regularity to talk about how we would plan this. It became evident that you could have economies of scale by having a whole group of people fill out the forms with just one lawyer supervising and explaining to them.
It was very clever because the center didn't have any money. And so they came up with this concept: let's teach people to represent themselves, to be pro pers.
We grew from filling out restraining orders and that being our only function, domestic violence, to full-fledged family law issues.
There are other programs that are, whether they're legal clinics or legal, low-income firms or sliding scale firms that are designed to help in these areas, but the Buhai Center is unique in what it does.
A lot of people don't understand what the Harriet Buhai Center does. They think that we are giving forms to somebody to fill out. Like, here you go, you want a divorce, here's a packet. And we're not doing that, and I've never done that. And there is a tremendous amount of time that's spent with each and every client.
They helped me through this entire process. They made it like it was just really not as big a deal as I thought it was. As far as financially, they were just there. It was like it wasn't about the money, it was about helping another human being to get where they needed to go. They just walked everybody through as a group, and we were all at a table, and they helped each one of us, and there were like a few women there, and so if one woman needed a little bit more addressed, even in that group, they were there to help each person out. And I believe that the people that work here are compassionate.
What makes this center special and unique is largely the staff. And the commitment that they bring and the continuity that they bring over a period of many, many years.
We have a staff full of attorneys, volunteers, client assistants, administrative assistants, development assistants, office managers who really make a personal sacrifice every single day to work here. I think that each and every one of our staff members and volunteers really contributes not only their time, their effort, and their energy, but I think we put a lot of heart and soul into it. Nobody comes here sort of halfway.
If somebody needs special services, we will provide individual services for them. They'll see a volunteer individually.
The work is done to the highest level of lawyering, regardless of the income level of the client. They don't get a discounted service because of their inability to pay.
And then folks who really can't represent themselves, that we've determined they need the additional assistance of an attorney to be in court with them, to represent them, we would refer those people to our pro bono panel, and they would get the assistance of an attorney.
When I went for look for help, a lot of different phone numbers to where I called, and nobody helped me at this place.
And Betty called and said, there's no office space for you, but we'd like you to get, I was scheduled to start in a few months, and she said, but we have this really complicated case, and are you interested in kind of starting to work on it? So Estella and I used to meet at coffee shops, at libraries, at different places, and we got to know each other. I think that she'd been going to court without an attorney, and she lost her custody of her children. And the father managed to turn the children against the mother, and it was mom trying to get custody back of those children.
So he had taken the children and moved somewhere, and she didn't know where they were. So it took her a while. She finally located the father with the children. But in the meanwhile, the father had told the children that their mother was dead. And, you know, so then when she showed up and wanted to start exercising her visitation with them, you know, there was a lot. I mean, emotionally, I'm not a psychologist, but, you know, it was a complex emotional case.
But what happened is that Estella would go and pick up the child, pick up all the children, and the father would say, do everything you can to make your mom's life miserable. You know, tell her you don't want to go, refuse to get into the car. And so the kids would just listen to what Dad said.
And the oldest daughter would be screaming at her mother. The son, Angel, who was 16 at the time, would be screaming at his mother.
They would throw mud at her. They would spit at her, and she never lost her cool. She kept going. She wanted to make sure that the children understood that she loved them, that she wasn't giving up on them, and that she was committed to having a relationship with them.
It seems like it was very hard for the kids. They suffer a lot because they don't want to see nobody. But I never want to stop. I call Linda, Jane, and Julie. I call them my 3 angels. And I never want to forget what they did for me. Because thanks to them, Alex is with me.
I don't know if it was because it was a new attorney or because Estella was my first client, but it meant a lot to me. And it's 10 years later, Estella still calls me. I get a Christmas card every year saying, you know, thank you for being my angel and changing my life. When you get a case like this and you can really make a difference, it really, keeps me going. It keeps me wanting to do public interest and wanting to stay in family law and helping victims of domestic violence. That's why I continue to do it.
When I was asked, what is one word that you think of when you think of the Harriet Buhey Center, I came up with the word empowerment.
I've always talked about the empowerment of the center, and that the dollars that people give, the time that people spend, the focus and attention of the staff, and certainly the volunteers, that's what it does.
I think sanctuary would be the one word that I would use, in the sense that it shelters and comforts and aids, but also enables women.
Relief. Relief to the overburdened system, relief to the somewhat confused client, relief to society by resolving problems that can bubble up into much more serious issues if not taken care of.
Inspiring. That's the word.
Justice.
Hope.
Compassion.
If I could use one word to describe the center, I would use the word caring. I think if you really care about what you're doing, whatever it is, that means it means you're paying attention. You know, all of the nuances are not escaping you, and you're really giving of yourself. For the 20 years that I've been here, I think we have provided really good quality legal services to a large number of people.
There will always be those who cannot afford, and who will be poor, and who will need a voice, and who will need someone to speak for them. And I hope that we will be here in perpetuity to be that voice for the voiceless, to be able to provide the services for those who cannot afford the services, who really, really need the services, to have someone there to protect the rights of the persons who cannot do so for themselves. I hope that we'll always be here.
It's just wonderful to see the center growing and to remember back to what we started at and how we started and what a little what a little group we were. But you know, we have helped a lot of people, and that's a wonderful feeling.
The Harriet Buhey Center for Family Law, celebrating 25 years of accomplishment.